What's going on, everybody? My name is Justin Gaming. So now that we've seen all the press conferences for all the big companies like Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, EA, Bethesda, and Nintendo, I thought it would be a good idea to make a list of the top 5 games that impressed me the most at this year's E3. Now, of course, I quickly want to say these games aren't exactly representing which games I'm most excited for in the upcoming years. It's simply the games that impressed me the most when they were shown at their press conferences. So I thought that I'd start with 2 honorable mentions. You know, these 2 games definitely did impress me when they were shown, just not enough to make it to my top 5. So the first one I put down on my honorable mentions was Anthem. Now, Anthem was actually shown at 2 different press conferences, because at the EA press conference they announced it with a teaser trailer that was only like a minute long. We got like some cool shots at these, sci-fi futuristic stuff, and then later on the next day at the Microsoft conference was where we got the full gameplay demo. And I gotta say, when they showed it at the very end of the Microsoft conference, it looks super cool. Obviously Mass Effect Andromeda came out this year, and that was of course made by BioWare, and this new game Anthem is also being made by BioWare. But some people might not actually realize, but Mass Effect Andromeda was actually being made by BioWare's B team, and it seems like Anthem is going to be made by their A team, which is something that's really exciting, because those are the same people that made the original 3 Mass Effect games that all did super well. So yeah, it's not like the actual gameplay demo was like anything like too crazy that actually had me like mind blown or super excited or anything. It was just that, the graphics look super cool, and overall the entire gameplay demo was fun and enjoyable, and it just got me excited that the game would be coming out next year already, after we got Andromeda this year. But yeah, Anthem is coming out next year, and I was excited with what we showed, so that's why it was on my honorable mentions. And the next one, it's a game that's coming out later this year in August, actually, and that is of course Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Of course, Uncharted is my favorite franchise, so Uncharted: The Lost Legacy was the game Sony opened their press conference with, and yeah, that got me super excited. We got a story trailer of Chloe and Nadine. We got a bit more insight on what they're actually going to be doing, some of the locations they're going to be visiting, and they also showed off some of the set pieces. It looks crazy. To be honest, I feel like the set pieces that they're going to be happening in this game might even be bigger than the ones in Uncharted 4, because Uncharted 4, the pacing really felt like different compared to the other 3 Uncharted games. So yeah, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy had me super excited, and that's why I put it in my honorable mentions. It only didn't make it into my top 5 only because, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, even though Naughty Dog is treating it like a full game, it's probably only going to be like 8 to 10 hours long, as opposed to these other games that I put down that are like these way bigger games that I'm going to be playing for a lot longer. So for that reason, I put Uncharted: The Lost Legacy in my honorable mentions. Alright, so now let's move on to my actual top 5. So at number 5, I put down Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, Assassin's Creed Origins was actually shown at 2 conferences as well. It was revealed at the Microsoft conference with a trailer and also a short gameplay. And I gotta tell you, Assassin's Creed Origins, the game has kind of been already like talked about for the past few months. I think we all knew it was coming. We've been hearing leaks every once in a while, and especially like the week before E3, we got like so many leaks about the game that we all knew it was coming. But when we saw the game with that official trailer, the setting, and then we got the gameplay, and just everything that they are doing, it seems to be like, obviously Egypt is a setting that we've never been before in Assassin's Creed, and they seem to like have redone all the gameplay mechanics. Everything just looks super cool, and I think that now that they've taken a whole year off from Assassin's Creed, this 1-year break has really allowed them to make adjustments to the gameplay, really rethought about where they want to go and take the series. So I was just like super excited when Assassin's Creed Origins was shown off, and it's coming out this year, of course, this fall, and I'm super excited for that game, so that's why I put it at number 5. Now, at number 4, I put down God of War. So at the Sony press conference, we got, I think it was around like a 4-minute kind of like gameplay trailer of God of War. So it's kind of like a mix between story and gameplay, because like, we didn't get to see like a full gameplay demo like we did last year, but it was like we saw gameplay shots of like all over the story in that trailer, and it just looks so cool. Like God of War, you know, I still haven't finished God of War 3. I'm like in the middle of playing that game. But it's just that if you just look at that God of War and you look at this God of War, they look like completely different games. You know, they've obviously, like, even we saw from last year's demo, it seems like they've taken the series to a completely new direction with, you know, new voice actor for Kratos, a completely new setting. They're doing Norse mythology instead of Greek mythology this time around. He's now joined by his son. They're going to be focusing a lot more on story this time around. The gameplay seems to be refined. Now they're doing like this more traditional third person view instead of like this over top camera where it would be like a fixed location you can see Kratos. Now there are some people that are like the true God of War fans that are kind of like disappointed by this because, you know, it's kind of like changing what God of War means. But for someone like me who actually prefers these type of games where it's like the traditional third person, something like Uncharted or The Last of Us, for example, it's something really cool to see. And yeah, just God of War, when they showed it off at the Sony press conference with that trailer, it just got me so excited. And yeah, it really seems to be like, you know, the first big PlayStation exclusive that we're going to be getting that they showed off at the conference, because, you know, we had like Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, what else was there? Yeah, but those games, you know, we still haven't gotten any release dates for those. And also Spider-Man, of course. Spider-Man's going to be coming later on in 2018. But yeah, God of War is going to be coming early 2018. So honestly, the wait is really not that long. We're going to be getting it soon. So yeah, God of War at number 4. So at number 3, I put Days Gone. Now the thing is, some of you guys might know my opinion on Days Gone, but actually before the press conference, I was a bit skeptical about Days Gone because when we saw it previously, I was like, okay, yeah, the game definitely does have potential if they had a cool story. You know, they're making this open world game with freakers. You can have like hundreds of freakers on the screen all at once, and it's about survival, so it could be cool. But, you know, I was still on the fence if that game was going to be actually really good. And what they showed off this year at the Sony conference was a like 7-minute gameplay demo, and it just looked so much better. Like the graphics seemed to be improved so much more. We saw a bit more of the gameplay mechanics, what you can do, like setting up traps, really what you need to do to survive against these different, both against humans and also against freakers. And we saw like these other things. We saw wolves that were infected, and we saw a bear at the very end that was also infected. So yeah, it is really interesting. Days Gone. I'm like way more excited for that game now. So I still think the game's gonna come out in 2018. I'm a bit surprised why they didn't show any like release window or anything like that. But yeah, Days Gone, I'm definitely way more excited for the game now. So for that reason, I put it at number 3. Now, next up at number 2, I put, this is actually an interesting one, but I put A Way Out from the EA press conference. Now, the thing with A Way Out, it wasn't like when it was shown, it was like super impressive or like crazy or anything. It was just that at the EA press conference, I really wasn't expecting anything more other than Star Wars and sports games. And A Way Out was like this big surprise that came out of nowhere, that when we saw it, you know, it's a co-op third-person game. And then there's going to be a cool story involved. And, you know, there definitely seems to be some kind of influence from Uncharted. I believe even like on the creative director's Twitter account, he mentioned that it was actually kind of like inspired by Uncharted. After he played like the first few hours of Uncharted, he got inspired to do this. And I remember there's so many people saying that this game seems to be like the whole Uncharted 4 Chapter 2 in the prison, like a whole game based around that. So yeah, A Way Out looks super cool, and it's coming early 2018, I believe that's what they said. So yeah, I'm super excited for that game. Definitely going to play that when it comes out early 2018. So for that reason, I put it at number 2. And finally, of course, my game of the show, this is one of my most anticipated games. I put down Marvel's Spider-Man at number 1. And this was the game that closed off Sony's press conference. They closed it off with like an 8.5-minute gameplay demo, which was really cool because we got to see tons of things, like more insight on the story. Who are the characters? Who are the villains they're going to be? You know, right now we've seen the Inner Demons, and I think his name was Martin Lee, who's Mr. Negative. And also we saw Spider-Man fighting against him. We saw more gameplay mechanics. We saw the open world. We saw Spider-Man's suit. We saw, you know, everything. The environment looks super cool. Spider-Man is one of my most anticipated games right now. Obviously, I'm covering it on my channel a lot. I'm planning to do so until the game comes out all the way, of course. So, yeah, for that reason, Spider-Man I put at number 1. It's just that I'm super excited for that game, and what we saw of it was super awesome. And yeah, I just had an enjoyable time seeing that game at Sony's conference to close it out. So yeah, those were the 5 games that impressed me the most at E3. So of course, make sure to let me know down below in the comments which were your top 5 games of E3 2017. And of course, I'm going to be making a lot more videos on upcoming games that we saw at E3. We're probably going to do like trailer and gameplay analysis for each of these games. Probably you can expect videos about Spider-Man, God of War, Days Gone, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. I'll probably do a video about Last of Us 2, how we didn't see anything about that, and also Sucker Punch's game. So yeah, over the next week you can expect more videos about E3 from me. So yeah, of course, make sure to subscribe to get everything. And yeah, with that, I'd like to thank you a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.